For the past 5 decades, Jim Swanson has been a vital part of the Maple River community. During those years, he's worn a lot of hats, from coach and teacher to the guy who recycles aluminum cans, to his newest role as Grandpa Jim. Let's find out how he's been spending his golden years.
Well, it was just time I felt based on, I like even numbers. 40 sounded good in that sense, but it was just time I felt to move into a little quieter setting. I was still pretty darn busy though. I was still mayor when I retired and had many things to do there, so to speak. And I enjoyed the time off, but what was unique to my setting is that Arlene wouldn't retire the same time as me. She went one more year, so I was home alone, so to speak, in many cases, and I just got done things I had been putting off for a long time, and certainly was better able to fulfill other duties, like I've been quartermaster for the VFW for 23 years, and also to do my part in Sertoma. Well, that was, I think it went pretty well, but there were times she of course was in special ed for 37 years, and I sometimes felt like I was one of her students, and being a directive farm girl would tell me what to do in the morning, and I would remind her, I have things to do too. And so there was a transition, a little bit of friction, nothing serious. We're still married after 54 years, 55 in December 27th. Well, let's see. It surprised me, I guess, that it did not change my mode of operation, my basic mode of operation. I was still up at 6 every day, and the first year, of course, helping Arlene get going on the road. But that mode of operation goes way back to the farm when I was farming up by Wilmer with my dad, growing up on the farm. That getting up early is like ingrained in you. Your eyes open up. I've heard of people talking about, it's so great to be able to sleep in and so on, and I just couldn't do that. I don't know, there's something in my psyche that didn't allow that, so that was surprised me just a bit. Just more time to get things done when I am someone that is looked upon as someone to contact if you want to get something done or you want to do something. May be difficult, and having the extra time really helped me get that. And of course, it would become, the older I got, when you get older, you don't do as much as when you're younger, and you don't get it done as quickly and so on. So it was something that Arlene would have and I would have some friction to this day, and that's doing too many things. And the boys mention it too. They to both of us, it doesn't seem like you are retired. You're so busy doing this, that, and everything in the community, and so it would become a bit of a friction later. But initially, when I just retired, it was really nice to have more time and just the freedom to do what I wanted. I would set my agenda for the day. I got to do these things and not have the demands of a clock on the wall in the classroom, you know. So that was a good thing. Well, um, uh, start the day, I guess, by getting up and doing some sort of exercise activity. I lift some weights in the basement. Not a lot, but enough, I think, that keeps muscle tone. Treadmill work a little bit. So there's a little bit of a workout time in the morning, maybe not long, 20 to 30 minutes. And then move on up to, and Arlene is doing this at the same time as me too. And then we'll go up, have breakfast, and then confer. She'll often say, what's on your agenda today? Which is a nice way of giving me some respect that what I need to do is important, and I do the same in return to her. Sometimes we can combine our forces, so to speak, to get things done, whether it's a trip to Mankato or something in the yard. And so it can be a good thing if you can work with your spouse to get things done. I am still advisor to the Maple River 13 Club, which is a community service club. We do things for no money to help people in quite a variety of ways, from cancer benefits to mowing their lawn and raking their leaves. And that takes some organization time and some cell phone time, contacting them, reminding them, because oftentimes they sign up for projects 1, 2, 3 weeks ahead of time. So they need a reminder, even though they have their cell phones and they could use them for that. It's still their kids, and they're busy, got many things on their, so they need reminding. So 13 is one of them, and been able to keep that going for 24 years now. We started it in May of 2000 and done thousands of hours of service in our community. And in Mankato, we always do 4 Saturdays for the Salvation Army bell ringing. This year we got close to $5,000 that we raised. It's an all-day thing, 10 in the morning till 8 at night. But that's 13. Another aspect certainly is Sertoma, which is the adult version of 13. We do many things for no pay. Personally, we do get paid by the city to take care of the planters and so on. Planters on Main Street, there's 17 of them.
So that's how Mr. Swanson has been spending his retirement. Now, let's reflect on his time as a teacher.
Okay, rookie year of teaching. That would be on the Red Lake Indian Reservation. I was hired after being in the military, Vietnam, to teach American history to the Red Lake Indians. Not the most popular subject up there, but then also to be their head football coach, because they had had disastrous years, and so it was a job, I was looking for a job. All I had when I got out of the military was student teaching in Coon Rapids Junior High School. That's all I had as far as my resume. So I was just happy to get a job. I'd gotten many denials along the way. Arlene and I made the decision to apply at a couple of schools in southern Minnesota so it could be a little closer to our family in both Olivia and Wilmer. That was one of our goals. So I applied in Mapleton. They had an opening. Applied over in Harmony and one other school. I can't quite remember the name of it, in Wisconsin. but I came down on the same day and interviewed at all three places. Drove back to Red Lake, south of Red Lake. The last year up there, we had bought a home closer to Bemidji. Otherwise, the first 2 years we lived on the reservation. And came in second in Harmony, and in Wisconsin, I think I was third or something along that line. But in Mapleton, they called and asked me if I would consider coming. They thought I was a good candidate, and that would be and to come and coach football, because they had similar things going on there as we had in Red Lake. Well, I think some of the moments that I remember most would be all of the relays for life that we did, raising a lot of money, and certainly the blood drives that we got started. Both of those things got going under my direction, and so those are a couple highlights I think that I take great joy in, and they are still. Well, the Relay for Life ended about 3 years after I retired. When the school went to the trimester system instead of semester, there wasn't just because Relay for Life is a sophisticated project. It just takes time to do it properly. And so we had to end it. I worked with Melanie Urban, I think, for 3 years on 3 Relays for Life, and then the change in the academic setting there from semester to trimester kind of ended it right there. Well, I did enjoy working with 17 student teachers, of which 2 of them would end up on staff, Sue Wilde and Jason Pickett. And Jason was a bit of a character who would go on after 9/11 to become an FBI agent and so on. And Sue Wilde, success in her own right. And certainly Howard Herbst, who was athletic director for a number of years. Ben Peterson, probably one of the reasons I continued as head football coach, because it came down to him or I when it come time to determine who the new head football coach was going to be for Mapleton Amboy Good Thunder. And he decided to bow out. He had had his success in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and I had boys coming up in the program, both my sons, and so he said, I'm going to retire, and so it came down to me then, and then I was chosen as head football coach and had quite a bit of success. Won a championship with both my boys, which was just wonderful. And so, yeah. But Ben was a great mentor, just and so was Howard. Jason in his own way. So, oh boy. I usually got along well with my bosses as far as the principals and superintendents, out of necessity. I was head football coach, I was a teacher, of course, and it's not a good idea to be on the bad side of them when you're trying to get equipment and things like that. So, but certainly I enjoyed all of them. Certainly my first boss, Cy Gao, was a unique individual. He always had your back. I mean, he would, if a conflict happened between a parent and the teacher, he would make sure he got our side of the story, before he even thought of getting angry with me about something. So he was always there, very good. And I fit in pretty well because I just didn't, I had pretty good discipline in my classroom. I mean, I don't believe I ever sent anyone to the office in my 37 years at Mapleton, Maple and Amboy, Good Thunder, and Maple River. I just believed if I had a big enough problem, I would talk with the kid after class. I was fortunate I had a back room in my room, or before the class ended, I would just speak with them. That usually took care of it. I never had to go further. So I probably was popular among the principals as someone they didn't have to worry about as far as discipline. But certainly, well, um, um, Dick Kubel, as far as superintendents, um, Jack Stoughton. I mean, we've had some outstanding ones.
All right,
Dan Anderson.
Yeah, I stepped on that one too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I thought you were done. I was going to go to the next question.
Yes. So many, I guess, but certainly I always enjoyed the trio family. Lindsay Trio, for example, was one that was very outstanding. She was in Fellowship of Christian Athletes that Jason Fickett and I started. She was in 13, just overall superstar kid, and yeah, there's so many. I hate to zero in on just one or two, but well, I think I enjoyed political science. Was a great class, which I did involve the kids as much as I could, helping candidates. Then I would also have the candidates come from both sides of the political spectrum, so to speak, to speak to the kids, because I felt he had to be fair. And it would be a quick way to get in trouble with parents if you didn't have both sides, so to speak, to come. But they, and of course, after being elected mayor, over the years, that became a part of it, which I would be able to share true to life stories without names, of course, that I think enhanced that class and made it more interesting. But some notables, Governor Waltz came and spoke twice, and his opponent, and that was very interesting, I think, to everyone, and they would go on to become big-time politicians, so to speak. Well, let's see. I know for myself, my motivation over the years was working with the kids. Every day when you'd come to work and see their bright, shining faces and their stories, and that's, I guess, why I stayed with it as long as I did. I just enjoy young people, and they do help keep you young, by the way, and to try to embrace each of them in that sense, and value them as a person and as a student and a member of the community, and it's the kids, I guess, that would always recharge my batteries if I was feeling down.